on January 8th. This is almost a month ago now already, as this is being recorded in early February now, 2023. My mom wrote, "I will listen to the videos this week." Now, of course, she was referring to the Rebuke of Barbara Winslow playlist set or series of videos, in which, as a result of the practical estrangement that has set on between my mother and I for the last 4+ months now, some ridiculous amount, like 17 weeks, some craziness like this, as if this is normal. The only practical way to communicate those important, essential things to a person who I hold as a substantive wrongdoer, if we're not speaking directly, and no further issues have been resolved expediently yet through a third party or other remedial kind of manner, I upload videos on here. So first of all is a Rebuke of Barbara Winslow set, which addresses the facts of the matter. Then the moral law, which applies to the people in matters such as these, where I turn to not only the Bible and quote all of the books and sources of that, which is the staple and foundational work of our Judeo-Christian civilization and value system, that is our moral system, but I furthermore turn to 50+ experts within a 4-part compilation series, soon to be 5-part compilation series. I'm going to upload a little more. This playlist is not yet finished. These are all my videos, right? Record all the, there's a few more I have to upload in here, and then it's going to be complete. But anyway, on account of my mom and I not being on the same page, as has been shown recently in the prior videos, what more can a man in my position like this do? It would be a lowering of my own dignity to approach someone who isn't looking to restore or reconcile with me correctly. And yet, there must be facts and truth made known to the record in a sense. So here is the record. So I'll put here. Anyway, as I've stated to other people, around me in my life, here and there, and as people have found out, really, particularly in the last several years since I've been post-coma, people have come to figure out and understand, actually, by their own understandings and their own experience of me, not only I don't really lie, but beyond this, and I think the two aspects are actually related, I also don't make a lot of mistakes when calling my shots, so to speak. That is, I'm very careful with what I say. I'm so careful that when you practice being careful with what you say, such as to make sure every living, waking, breathing moment that everything you say is only exactly correct and has only the correct substantive truth that is with integrity, it's consistent to reality, then when that is soaked into everything you say with intention, your brain becomes so hyper well built and trained to that you become like in landmark education, today's known as Landmark Worldwide, they used to say, listen, when you practice integrity, at some point you get to a place in your life where you just say the word chair and a chair will fall out of your mouth. All right, and the whole audience would laugh, but really there's a very big truth to that. It's very true. Something happens in the energetic spheres of your life, your consciousness, and the reality around us, that when you take care to cut out all the fat, so to speak, and only speak correctly, then when you speak, number one, people can bet money on the things you say, because you're just going to be right a lot of the time. And not only that, you're just going to have a tendency to manifest things that you say because you're intuitive circuitry, knows what's real, knows what's consistent with reality. Okay? Very important. Now, in my opinion, but in my well-established opinion, sorry to say, men are better at this than women. Now, I'm not knocking women. In fact, there's some women I know who are very intuitive and almost psychic in a sense. They'll have access to truths that are beyond the physical sense, and they are metaphysically accessed. So whatever you can call that. I've seen some amazing things and some very interesting people in my life. But when it comes to the effects here in the material world, there's a reason that men in the traditional world were set as priests, not women. We are the ones who convert the energy and say it in that substance to be represented in the correct form such that it is correctly aligned with truth. That is the job of men. Men in ancient Israel were set as judges. You did not have women to be set as judges for multiple reasons. Not only for the reason that women were not to exert authority over men, a principle that extended into the Christian world as well. Obviously, a truth of virtually all ancient civilizations on this earth, who were doing their thing long before we started messing with the things that we start putting into our own water and food and soil and air. But here's the point. It was when a man with correctly functioning brain and correctly functioning hormones, it's all plugged in and correctly attuned, and that person furthermore has integrity and doesn't even allow passively for fuzzy, flexible truths to come into his speech, the way women are known to and often will do. See, truth is relative for women. Truth is whatever you feel, you see. When you're a woman, the mind works a little different. All right? A man won't accidentally allow himself to slip into non-truths. He's either deliberately lying or deliberately telling the truth. And he knows what truth is. Women, it's just a different circuit. True is whatever you feel that day. True, 2 + 2 = purple to that side of the hemisphere of the brain. Okay? Truth is, the symbols in your dreams with the, lady running through the poppy seed flower fields, in a purple tutu and, singing canaries. Okay? It's a different reality. Now, this isn't necessarily as true today, because when you put fluoride in the water and other chemicals everywhere, all the hormones start inverting. It's all proven in the published studies. You could look it up. I sure have looked up and read through many of them, so I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, when you have someone who's a male, and a grown adult male, particularly someone who's your own son, and you're an old lady, you have a man. He's the eldest male living in your family line now, currently too. And he's generally regarded by people around him as someone who's particularly truth-telling, at least on a relative scale. I'm not going to say it about myself, because, hey, then you'll call me a liar. If I say I don't lie, you won't believe me. All right? But so if I say I don't know what I'm talking about, you'll know I'm also boasting, and rather, I'm... There's more to that picture than what I'm letting on. Okay? When you have a son who's known to speak with integrity, you get into some kind of conflict with him, a lot of bad things happen. This has been detailed already earlier in the series, I believe. And now, you're in a position where you're a moral person, you're always looking to reconcile. That's the moral obligation, is to always be looking to reconcile with family. If there's a misunderstanding with family, you don't purposely pre-plannedly pre-play that to go the way of the dodo, or to just extinguish and go extinct and die. No, you have a moral obligation to be protective and to always keep your heading, or in your orientation of energy, so to speak, to always be accommodating to do the right thing in that domain with a particular kind of attentiveness. This is very important. Well, I said my truth in the 3 initial videos of the Rebuke of Barbara Winslow series uploaded onto YouTube. Now, when I speak my truth, and that's not all the truth, that is a very small portion of the things that have happened. Other people around me have heard much more extensively the great details of a lot of things that have gone on. I may need to upload a few more things. We'll see. Normal people, when I speak, would not accuse me of speaking falsely. In fact, it's an insult to someone who generally intentionally practices to speak and represent things with a true fidelity and integrity. It's an insult to them to even imply that something they're saying is not correct, that they're misleading or falsely speaking things, anything, in fact. Well, let's just get it straight. On Friday, January 20th, mind you, 12 days after, 12 days later, here we are. I was working on your videos in order to address the problems, she says. Didn't even finish watching them. And in fact, she still hasn't finished watching the set of videos. We're now in almost the middle of February. So already, what do you see as an objective kind of a third-party viewer? What do you see going on there? Yeah, that's really taking your sweet time. Now that in itself is immoral. That in itself is an offense. When you have a conflict problem with a relative and you're supposed to be working on it, every minute you're not reconciled correctly to all members of your family and beyond is a sin. And particularly if you've done anything wrong in that situation, and you have that good Roman maxim that you don't show up to equity with unclean hands, but, of course, it's consistent with the Judeo-Christian principles, agree with your adversary. And when you've done something wrong, the honorable thing, don't get confused, is not to defend anyway. You don't defend anyway, idiots. When you've done something wrong, your first obligation is to correctly admit that you've wronged someone and to, furthermore, atone. That means to pay. And willingly, happily pay. Beg to be given an opportunity to pay and then pay even harder. Well, she says, didn't even finish them, but notice that you already posted your videos on YouTube. Well, if you look back at the texts that were covered prior, didn't I say and give an advance notice, in fact, that first of all, I gave notice that in the event that she was showing a persistent and unreasonable non-willingness to sit down and work the things out, that I was just going to turn to posting the things on YouTube to go this indirect route because the direct route was being blocked by her. Not good. So there's no surprise there. She didn't object to any such thing or give any counter idea. Of course, there wouldn't be one, but there wasn't anyway. And now when I do the thing that listen, I'm a man. When I say I'm going to do something, it's as if God said it through me. You men out there, and you women too, but really you men, if you have honor, when you speak, kill yourselves ever if the day comes that something you say didn't come true. I promise you, if you live like that, you will be as a god almost on this earth. You understand? Oh, she continues on here. Anyway, this one here. I noticed you already posted your videos on YouTube. Didn't even have a chance to watch all of them. If they aren't removed within, this gets amazing, if they aren't removed within 24 hours, there will be no possible reconciliation. Hey, hold on a second. Did you guys catch that? You mean, you see the mind blow here? This is true narcissism. So let's get some context here again. Who is this? This is a mother to a son. any normal mother in the universe, these words wouldn't even be, no matter how you looked at the brain folds, no combination of brain folds in a normal person's head could wire such a neural link in your brain to allow you to, those words to even be possible to say. Okay? That's number one. And you people really need to get this, all of you out there. And you know, I'm not even addressing this to anybody in particular, but more of this is just an objective general review for any general audience. Though, of course, I'll be seeing this. Any witnesses involved in the matter close to me will be seeing this. My mom certainly will be seeing this as a primary audience member of sorts. You're not a woman if you say something like this, you give this kind of treatment to your son. The eldest son, eldest living male in your family, is the king and sovereign residing throne member sitting on your king panel over your whole family name and household. Excuse me? But this is the narcissistic control. This is the intimidation, but it doesn't work. I'm superhumanly I'm resistant to any human attempts to do anything to me. For reasons that are outside the scope of these videos, but never mind that. What a dumb thing to say. So, is this an offensive response or a non-offensive response? Of course, it's an offensive response. What's the basis of this? The videos are full of incorrect and false information, which should be addressed and clarified. Really? No one ever has accused me of saying something false. But if you're a woman and you do a bunch of shady things, and they're all detailed in the previous videos, and then you get called out on it, what's typical woman's defense? Oh, no, it's a lie. I'm telling you, it's everywhere. Are you cheating on me? A man might say to his woman. Oh, no, I'm not. Actually, it's a lie, but in her brain, she doesn't know how to do anything except run to her lie. Women are programmed different. It's not true that she isn't just because she said the words to you that she didn't. That's insane by the man's standards of what correct, objective reality and truth is. It's insane. So, in actuality, it's not the case that the videos are full of Jesus. It's not even like, oh, there's mostly, imagine a normal person would look at it. You could say one of two things. It's literally full of correct information, or the other thing is, well, it's really packed with a lot of sobering and correct information, but maybe there's one or two things, just a little bit here and there that might not be correct, or I'm not sure. No. The crazy thing is to say, the videos are full. It's full of incorrect and false information. That's an insult to even imply that I've said anything incorrect. Mind you, put yourself into a person's shoes now. Let's say you're somebody who came across a video about you on the internet, on YouTube. So you upset somebody has a grudge against you, maybe rightfully so. Regardless, they're beginning to tell their story about you. Well, if you're being accused of doing something wrong and you're not reconciling and repenting with that person, number one, as a moral matter and moral right, they inherit by your waiver, so to speak, the right to begin to talk about you and what you did. Why? Well, you were given a fair chance to resolve the matter privately, number one. And number two, there's no free pass in life that you get to do irresponsible, hurtful things to others but still remain in some kind of protection that I get to hurt others recklessly but not be exposed about it. Very convenient, right? No, my friends. In moral land and God land, you stay harsh when you have to. So it's good to be harsh. It's good to burn evil out of this sight. It's very important. Okay? But mind you, imagine you have something being said about you. If you did something a certain way and then someone else is accusing you of having done something that you didn't do, you would know exactly what the lie is. If it is a lie, you would know exactly what it is. When you would go confront that person, you would know exactly what it is that you're accusing them of. Or if it's a set of things, a bunch of things, you would know that the chief things among them that blow your mind, that were said about you. The immediate impulse, which by the way is an impulse so consistent and reliable that it is admissible as evidence in courts, that tends to support the truth of a matter. When a person's confronted with an accusation, whether they fall silent, admit, clarify, don't clarify, the manner of response in certain situations is in itself an indicator of something. Okay, so let's follow the conversation here. Does this person clearly say what's false? Because if you had something false being said about you, the first thing you would say is, I didn't take $30 from Sheila. That's what you said. I didn't do that. It would be the first thing. No, it wouldn't be, you said false things. What false things? I don't know. False things? That's suspicious. That's a red flag. It means you're not really in reality. You're fuzzy. You only love feelings. You don't love God and truth. See? You are in no position to make any demands. I don't have an obligation to take down videos that put truth on the internet. However, if you believe now there is false information, first of all, let's establish context. This is why you are here to listen to these videos. I made them for this person to watch in this playlist that I constructed on YouTube primarily for the purpose of having them come and look at it. And then to eventually sit down with a witness who is present and to address what is true or false so that the reality of the matter can be properly established. You are a complete highest level idiot if you think some hard-nosed approach to your son is appropriate here in this situation. Absolutely disgusting. So what's going on here? I'm rebuking a woman who's done wrong. Christ tells you to put your head down when you've been caught doing wrong, dummy. Not to come up and go, I'm going to fight you back, and I'm going to fight you hard, I'm going to show you more resistance with resistance. No, dumbasses. You be quiet. You sit in the shame that you are supposed to feel if you're a normal person, and you finish watching the videos. You have no right to demand any removal. This seems like strong tone, harsh tone. Guess what? When I'm abused for 20 years by a neglectful mother and given neglect, this is the natural thing that happens. And there comes the compassion. And in fact, yeah, when you're a dude in that position and now you're in your 30s and you're stunted because you had only insane bullshit come from your parents, from your mom really, who continues to act towards you in a way that's not right, and you see evidence of this all over the place here. Well, sorry, man. Victims are victims. I don't have to be nice anymore. I don't have to contort my shit to a fake, false representation of a cordial anything. You've naturally brought me to the point of wrath. All I have is insane fucking anger because you wore me down to this point. But the sickness is thinking, no, I didn't do that. You are crazy, see? No, stupid. But show all the things and then you understand everything in context. So now this is the point that I'm this blunt and absolutely like harpoons at my mother. Because you did that to me. You have no right to demand any removal because I already tried to work it out with you directly. That is, tried to work the matter out with you directly. You yourself don't speak to your own son correctly. And I said for us to privately work with a witness. You also still refuse. So therefore you lose any protections that you have on the matter about, well, my reputation or whatever. By the way, I haven't shown this video to a broader public. I might as well anyway. I have the full right to. At the correct stage, if we are at that point, there will be a full entitlement to do that. Remember, when you're dealing with psychopaths, cluster B personalities, or anything of this type, we have a moral obligation to be moral and gracious to them until a point. Afterwards, correct godly doctrine forbids you from giving extra to people who don't deserve it. Christ represents this principle in his words when he says, "Don't cast pearls before swine, because they'll trample the pearls underneath their feet before they turn and run you through next too." After that, there's a complete lack of appreciation of what the fuck it even is that you're doing for them. They don't care. Their programming is reduced to that low level, and they can never appreciate what you're doing from your programming. All they have in their head, so to speak, they're only operating from their reptilian brain. That's all they understand. When it comes to people who are hurting you, offending you without proper justification or cause, and then you go and you try to work out in good faith, but you see a declination of a good faith working out taking place. Well, me sitting here doing the same thing, just be nice again, be nice. No. That Christ forbids that. Every moral principle forbids that. From everything going down the line. That's stupid. That's casting pearls before swine. No. When you realize you're dealing with reptilian brain, fucking psychopath-like cluster B personality, probably almost for sure, I think extremely likely, issues. No, at that point, the only way these people learn is by, you have to be the hot stove that when they touch you, immediately they have to feel direct pain, and as soon as possible. The only way to teach reptilian brain people is by psow. They have to suffer every time they do wrong. It has to hurt them to offend you. Be the correct embodiment of the correct effect upon wrongdoers' lives when they wrong you. Get it right. For even Christ himself said, "For with the measure that you measure will it be measured unto you." And when lizard brain types give you bad things back when you start out with good, but they just give you back bad, the same measure that they measure, what's your job now? Give them the corresponding thing back to them that's fit for the situation, but make sure they learn. Okay? And who's entitled to teach? Men. We covered this already. Men have authority, and women and other men at similar lower tiers are there to learn, and all women are there also to learn. You learn, class. You have to do the work from the bottom to climb back up to earn my respect. And I use the word respect as a figure of sense, but if you do some good research on, say, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs, for example, does a good job on discussing the nature and dynamics between love and respect. English is a funny language. You say, okay, respect, that's the idea. Okay, everyone gets respect. It's an interesting language, but also, I'm using the word respect to appease a lizard brain. It's not really respect that belongs to a woman anyway. This is obvious. Anyone who has correct programming will understand that. But if you're all drinking the fluoride water, none of you have correct programming, and you're all crazy, so you think craziness is sanity, and that normality is insane. There's a good story about, I remember one of my friends shared this with me. Maybe I'll share it another time, but, imagine drinking water from a fountain that makes an entire society or entire village or an entire community completely crazy. It inverts your thinking, and it makes up down, and it makes down up. It makes right left, and it makes left into right. Light is dark, dark is light. Everything is inverted. All people begin interacting in an insane way. Everyone's drinking from this water. And eventually find out it's the water. And one person stops drinking the water and they begin to see. Ah. It'll be adjudged that that person went crazy. Sad. I'll continue on. The videos are posted because you have been unreasonable. It is your work to do what it takes to beg for forgiveness. That is the concept of tshuva. Lastly, not a single thing I say is false by my reckoning. That's correct. I stand up to that. But I text this so that she could then, if she has a legitimate claim, in 2 seconds flat, really, but 2 minutes, you should be able to write down this and this is what you said. Look, you said this about me. That's not true. Boom. It'd be there in black and white, and it's the correct instinct. So let's see. No one has ever accused me of stating things falsely. So if you think something is false, you write down what it is and where you heard it and which video. Then we'll get a witness, and when we sit down, the witness will hear what you said, what it said there too. That in that part of the video, they'll hear what I said. You bring it up. You state what you think is false and why, right in front of the witness. Then guess what? If it is false, I'll correct it. I won't even just say a separate retraction in another video. I'll even go into the video and snip it out. Not even a publication will do that for you. But if it's true, but there's, a proper apology for the accusation otherwise, and there's a reconciliation, then as a courtesy, I'd also take the video down. That's as and when appropriate. Pretty reasonable, I'd say. That's fair. Very fair. However, you are very, very guilty, Mom, of severe transgressions against your own son. When you decline to resolve, a person has the right to make the matters public because you refused to work it out. Now, I told you in advance too, and I told you this in advance too in a reminder. That's correct, as we recall from just recently. You did nothing to rectify the situation, so, therefore, you waive your rights to privacy or to any special considerations. I don't owe you any special consideration to not put it on YouTube. And that's where you realize as a normal person, that's why we love our children. Because God forbid we overlook a super attentive love. I'm telling you, if you don't water your plants every day by that windowsill, the paparazzi will take pictures of your plants in the windowsill and put it into every publication that'll be talking about you. This lady, Miss So-and-so, fucking lets her plants dry up and die without water. Look at that. It has to hurt you when you make mistakes so that you learn not to make mistakes. That's the price for making mistakes. Good. God's world enacted correctly. Good. You are the one who is required to act in order to bring understanding. If you object to what I'm saying here, then for sure, again, just tell me immediately which video, what time mark you heard it, that you think it's a lie, whatever was spoken, supposedly. You make clear to me what it is. You make clear why you think it's a lie. I'll go check what I said. If you're mistaken, that is, if you just here implicitly called me a liar and is false, is not true that I'm a liar, you will owe only more very significant apologies. Because coming up to me and falsely accusing me of putting false information is yet another additional offense. Bad tactic. Only shitty people do it. It is not a light matter to falsely accuse your son of being a liar. I am not a liar. If you cannot make it clear immediately, everything will be left posted until the matter can be addressed with full clarity with a witness who is present to hear what you say and what your defense is. Hint, you should be there for this. Benefits you, but correct adjudication and processes benefits everybody when you make resolution correctly. So again, where is the correct information? Be specific. What particular thing is it that I've said that is totally incorrect? I'll actually make a deal right now. If you can show one thing I've said that is totally false, I will change the status of the videos so that it is unlisted and not public. This way only you, the possessor of the URL link, could see it. There you are. People say I'm fair. I got it from my grandpa, her father. Fair man. First you tell me what is false. You cannot just vaguely say something's false. Why? Because you don't like that the information puts you in a bad light? That's how it makes it false. That's why most families take good care to treat their children well. We are not property. You have no right to make demands. You have only the obligation to care for us correctly, care about us correctly. You were raised wrong yourself. Don't do the same thing on me. We just said the way you were raised yourself is wrong. So if you repeat wrong, that's wrong too, but it's your fault now this time. You tell me exactly what thing I said, at what time, in which video I said. By the way, my grandma, that's implying that somebody raised her wrong. I'm not saying it was my grandpa, I'm saying it was my grandma. That's the talk in this family. But my grandma raised me too as a grandma. I saw how she was. She was a matriarchal type, but I'll tell you what. My grandma would never deny something falsely if it is true. My grandma had better and more authentic consideration of me than my own mom had. I would have preferred my grandma to be my own mother than my mother now. For sure, I would have had a better upbringing if it was a swap out. I could say for sure. My grandma was much more astute. And when I was burdened almost to a point of upset, I do remember Grandma still had a capacity to adjust in a way that was very regardful of your sonny boy's dignity. I remember this too. If I got upset about something, my grandma didn't just blindly continue to hatch it down like dumbly down a bad path, like donk, like blindly. No, this was a smart and very sharp woman, and considerate in that sense. You know, strict in her own way and kind of curt in her own way, but no, there was an appropriate emotional transactional exchange. Put it that way. With my own mom, nothing. Zero. Just like dull in the eyes and like there's something you could call, it's like a fake sparkle in the eye. It's like a, you know, I could show you examples of this type of look in people. Well, whatever. Anyway. Where was I? So most families take good care to treat their children well. We're not property. You have no rights to make demands. You tell me exactly what thing I said. Which time, which video I said it that is false. I'll take it away from public mode posting if you're right. If you're not right, then you need to finish the videos as we established that understanding prior, and then sit down with me and a witness as soon as possible to clarify the matter. This is fair. How dare you accuse me of being a liar, which is implicitly what's happening. I spoke every word I said deliberately. Nothing was said accidentally. So if you're saying things were full of false and incorrect information, you're calling me a liar. And that is offensive. You see, the sick thing about you is that you actually want to remain unreconciled. perspective, an ex-girlfriend of mine, when she first heard that at one point in my life, my own mother, on purpose, didn't speak to me for 7-8 months and took measures to ensure that we wouldn't be speaking. When she heard about this, she couldn't even understand how that's possible. She never met anyone like that before. Before she ever met her in person, she only heard about her, but a little bit from me, because actually I very much, at that time, did not like to talk about my mom. Generally, they say, when you don't have good things to say, don't talk about it. Say nothing. Okay? Well, at some point, she came to learn about this after months, and she's like, I don't understand. I don't. What do you mean? How's that even possible? I said, oh, no, I was raised in a crazy house where craziness is normal, and normal things are not normal in a crazy place with crazy ideas, crazy standards. She looked at me, she said, yeah, listen, if my own mom, she thought to herself, Iranian woman, that particular woman, if my own mom, for any reason on earth, if somebody else is doing, or my brother's doing, her son, or her own doing, whatever the hell it is, it doesn't even matter. If for any reason ever it ends up that my mom is in an estrangement, is not talking to her own son for that long of a period of time, she would have committed ritualistic suicide by that point. Do you understand what I'm saying? I looked at her and I'm like, my God, like, I didn't get any honor and respect from my own mom, but my internal DNA, from my genetic ancestral memory, I understand, like, yes, that is true, that is correct. What the fuck? Of course moms are supposed to love their children that much. What the fuck happened? You see, the sick thing about you is that you actually want to remain unreconciled. If you go back up and look at what was written there, the woman here, this mother of mine, clearly looks like she's scratching for any reason not to connect correctly. Oh, some things you said I don't like. Oh, it is not possible. It will be impossible to reconcile. Cuckoo. The ultimate cuckoo. The ultimate mental sickness. Always firmly rebuke bad things and burn it out of existence from the interactional field here on this earth that we humans make. Burn it out. More could be said on this, of course, but let's move on. So if you end up doing not responsible things, I will continue to show this to the world, even this, here, which I am right now. How you message me to look for any opportunity to put blocks to resolution. The correct answer, guys, again, the correct answer, what would it look like? What does the correct response look like? If you were a normal woman in this mother's position, what's the correct answer? My God, my son, I've started to look at some of these videos. I realize how many things have took place that had the effect of hurting you so much. I didn't realize how hurtful these things have been to you. I'm so sorry. I really have remorse and regret that I did anything and participated in any way to make you displeased, unhappy, hurt. That's called empathic circuitry. If you don't have it, that's cluster B personality / antisocial / psychopathic, narcissistic, and the whole extended cluster of issues there. It's my strong opinion that this is what's going on with this person. When I tell the truth about you, you think you have the right to demand that I make special favors for you, to hide from the world what the truth is after your abuse to me? And then you're going to threaten me with what? More abuse? Not talking to your son is abuse, you dumb woman. And that's a fair statement. You do have to be dumb or otherwise morally off or just incorrect. You lose the courtesy of not being called a dumb woman by your son when you've gone this far into inconsiderate dynamics that end up hurting your son to this level. That's good. Good, make sure you hurt on the inside when you cause pain to others. Learn the reciprocal nature of reality till the fucking neurons finally connect. May God crush all guilty. You are the one who has 24 hours to see. They want to do that to you. Do it back to them. Say, learn what the fuck it is they're doing. You are the one who has 24 hours to specify what you're accusing me of, particularly. That is not simply untrue in your opinion. Show me what it is that's, by the legal standards, called reasonably untrue, which means no reasonable person in your shoes would be, or in any of our shoes, would be able to hold any different than that it is a plain untruth. It's either a fact or an opinion. You don't get to come up at me and accuse me because you don't feel like it's true. The only thing to make a person like you learn in this life is to put a curse on you. I'm not going to put a curse on you here now, but it needs to be a way to get hit back with what you're doing to get back you. Because you don't understand what goes around comes around. That literally is a definition of karma. I don't fucking get it. I only discussed a very small portion of the family history on those videos so far. So actually how it's going to work is that if you do not proceed to listen to all the videos, but you instead threaten to block reconciliation completely, mind you, this is mid to late January. We're almost in mid-February now. Still no substantive improvement in the situation. Every minute of suffering that is brought onto a blood relative because of her neglect, intentional neglect, so recklessness, karmically has to come back to hurt her in the soul deeply. Hurt there in the inside, in the heart of it. It has to cause pain. God-backed, God-sponsored pain. The best kind there is. I'll make the rest of the videos, I'll make the rest of the series of videos for sure. Put the remaining 95% of my life story within this family online. And then I'll actually advertise it strongly. And I'll write a book. Oh, the book's being planned already. It's got a title already too. So far I've kept most things off as a favor to you. If you break the consideration, I won't make any favors. Whole life story public. I have the right to tell my life story. So get it. If you're abusive, you pay the price. Every touch of the hot stove has to make you severely regret you ever touched that stove. Only deep lizard brain encodings of God, my regret of ever touching, the strongest remorse, not a logical remorse, a deep emotional remorse. Then you're reprogrammed. Because you were defective from the beginning, you didn't get reprogrammed when I told you in the rebuke the first time nicely. God says in the Torah, only the wise love you when you rebuke them, because they immediately take your rebuke and say, oh my God, you're right, sorry, and here's different, and I care about you, or about, oh my God, heaven on earth, heaven on earth. Oh. It continues on. But the simple will hate you for it. The dumb, the uninsightful, the idiots, fools will hate you for it. Scorners will hate you for it when you try to rebuke them. So what's the test to see what kind of person you are? When I see you doing wrong against me to the point that's no longer overlookable, you know, you used up your free few credits in the beginning because you went a little too far, and then I have to kind of tell you to, like, hey, that's not right. You, by your response, show yourself to be the narcissist or the problem person. I've not even advertised this actively. No one is even watching these videos. I haven't sent these to people on any wide scale at all. But, you see, for attempting to even try this shit at me today, this nonsense, either you now take this back and apologize and proceed to do what you said you were going to do, or I will actively push them. So, again, it has to hurt you for having tried, even attempted a morally incorrect path with someone who you owe a better type of dynamic to. I will actively push them. And by the way, I keep my promises. Very easy for me to get 100,000 people to see it. The reason I didn't do this is to give you a damn chance first to wake up. You're at risk of ruining it. Don't be stupid. God is watching. If he sees you are the one as the parent in the situation who's threatening to make any reconciliation not possible, the holy punishment for this is terrifying. As the eldest male in my family line, I have the God crown on my head to be the Godhead representative in this family line. That applies to all others around me related to, including women, and my mother too. So you all sit around me in a big circle, and as I tell you that truth, and you humbly learn. In that case, you just simply deserve what you get in this life. It's perfect karma from God. Why on earth you would risk appearing to me and to anyone else potentially as a person who appears eager to do anything possible to avoid reconciliation, that is the very bad luck. Now, before I proceed, so that's the last thing I said, and the next day my mom responds. Now, if you're a normal woman, again, what's the normal response? First, it'd be the consideration of the other person. John, I'm so sorry. I hurt you. You're right. You know, not everything that you said was a lie. It's not full of lies, because that's a crazy over-exaggeration. Not even an over-exaggeration. That is a complete lie. I don't believe a single thing I said is reasonably incorrect, because I stake my fucking honor on every word I ever say. Do you get it? I care that everything I say is with perfect integrity. Fucking hell. So let's observe. Empath or narcissist? Why on earth would you put some videos on YouTube without even giving me chance to respond? No, moron. I did give you a chance to respond. It's called several weeks ago already. Plus, I told you, come speak to me correctly and reconcile in private before any videos were ever even made. You said no. Well, I had things to tell you because I have a right to accuse you and to conduct my whole spiel when you've wronged me. But I told you that and you declined. So now I have a right to spiral out and expand the framework. Duh. She continues on. Your videos are full of errors. Now, mind you, we said, first of all, if you were lied about, wouldn't your first instinct be to say the specific lie? You know, I didn't take his keys. What are you talking about? You know, I wasn't at that place, or I didn't hit him in the head. It'd be very like, you said, yeah, you hit him in the head. I didn't hit him. It'd be clear. Boom, right there. It's just, your videos are full of errors. It goes even deeper. Remember, the devil imitates and masquerades. She goes on to say something that absolutely stuns me. You are the wrongdoer, okay? Not me. And what wrong have I done? None at all. And the rest of the text goes into some small card she picked up in the mail that was for me. It went to her separate address. But the last thing of substance here in this text, simply, you are the wrongdoer, not me. Really. Wrong for rebuking you? No. And even that Islamic teacher or prophet, or whatever his name is, Mufti Menk, that was shown, made it clear. Correct moral duty. You're a grown person, a grown man. You correct your mother. They're not God. Honoring them you don't honor them by bowing and like being submissive slave. But they will be a slave to you if they ever dare to be not correct to you, because they're breaking their obligation as parents to act even more honorable than you by acting the way God has all of us act, which is really great to all of us in each other. Rebuking a wrongdoer is correct. For in other places in the Bible, in the Torah, in Proverbs and other places, it says, better the anger and there's other places where anger is discouraged if it leads to sin and other harms. Anger itself is not the sin, only when it goes unchecked. However, God never tells you to curb your expression. If you were wronged, and you're presumably dealing with somebody who you hope at least has half a chance of being normal, not someone who's plainly evil, not someone who's plainly a scorner at the outset on the face of the situation, and you believe they're someone who should be wise, that's called honoring you. Rebuking you is giving you honor, because if you're already stupid or evil, the commandment changes. Actually, you don't rebuke that person. If I didn't rebuke you, that would be an insult to your honor, because it would be me implying that you're too low to even be rebuking. You kids need to sit down and start learning at my feet. But what does the wrongdoer here do? Flip it. You are the wrongdoer, not me. I'm not going to say what it is. I just say wrongdoer, wrongdoer. False. Yeah, yes, 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 that. Yes, okay. That's all you ever get. That should make everybody in this situation very suspicious. Well, we proceed on to my response. And by the way, you have somebody who wrote something to you once, you address it. Now at that point they have the opportunity to correctly stop. About face, that means turn around and back up. She didn't back up, she doubled down. So now now this is no longer negligent, kind of, like blind acting. That is on purpose now. So now you get the harder rebuke, even more good rebuke. Number one, there's nothing wrong with me putting anything that I want on YouTube, assuming is not malicious lies. Nothing wrong in doing so. When you have, firstly, done wrongdoings against me, secondly, refused to resolve the matter privately between ourselves, and thirdly, also refused to address the matter in front of witnesses, where fourthly, I had subsequently reserved the right to publicize the issues, and rightly so. I even gave you notice of this fact, and you still tacitly acquiesced to this, did not object, and did not do anything to change course or to correct the behavior. In this case, I am fully right to post a story of what happened onto YouTube. And you have no right to be offended. Keep in mind, I deny your accusation that I've said anything untrue, because I don't believe it to be so. I also know it to be so. So you are wrong. Number two, she has a mouth or a keyboard. She could use either one to verbalize or type and express any response to this, as long as it's fair or has substance to it. You know, maybe my deepest fault is that I always try to play fair with people. I actually hate that because, you know, everybody else just stabs you in the neck, and then you suffer more than I'll ever have you actually suffer. I'll actually really always consider, well, how can I be fair still to you? And how can I still be fair, even still? You fucking dopes. That's what I hate the most about myself. I'm too considerate of all sides. One day I want to be selfish and just burn the world around me. How do you like that? Because that's what you people are doing to each other all the time, every day. What's it like to be all of you? What's it like to be inconsiderate of other people? I don't know. I don't know. That's my burden. I can't separate myself from other people. I am all of us and all of you and me all at once. So I work our interactions the way I work the interactions between each of my own separate fingers, which are not separate. They're all in my nervous system, so I feel them all. So I'm considerate of each of them. You see? Number 2, I asked you very clear to point out what the alleged lie is. Obviously, should have said it already. But you have not done yet. You've not yet done so. When I've asked you this clearly already once. You cannot vaguely accuse someone of saying something false without specifying what it is. Because twice she's come at me, but 0 of those 2 contain a specific thing. 3, you are completely innocent. All right, she didn't say up here, mind you, she didn't say, you are a wrongdoer, and, you know, I've done some things wrong too. Guys, a lot of accusations. You guys have seen the videos already from before. Every text from her was another compounded wrongdoing. Another offense. Remember, guys, offense is wrongdoing. So when you offend somebody, you've done wrong. So boom, wrongdoing. Every single one. Saying contradictory things, justifying, not making sense, saying dumb things that would be like, make regular people blow their minds if you were to say this to them. No. Bad. Okay? So in that situation, if someone in my position did do something wrong, but the mother is a reasonable person, the correct response would be fair. Be like, oh, look, you might have done some wrong things, and you know, son, I've done some wrong things too. I see we're both wrong, so we're going to work it out. Now, she said, you're a wrongdoer, and not me. I'm not at all. So we're going to have a field day with this, and my witness, who might be watching this already or will be sitting down with all this content or to proceed otherwise on the matter one way or another. See, the first wrongdoing we convict her of will be, and now we have a second one automatically because you falsely denied, and a false denial is also a debt of wrongdoing. How dare you falsely deny? All right. Number 3, you're completely innocent? I do not think so. Obviously, this has been established already. So just remember, you cannot show up to claim justice or equity with unclean hands. However, 4, you accuse me of being a wrongdoer. I did not do anything wrong. You also, and pay attention to this, track this part of the conversation too, because obviously I'm saying I didn't do anything wrong, so if you think I did, say what it is. You also did not accuse me of anything specifically wrong. Yeah. If you think otherwise, the question for you is, what do you think I've done that's reasonably wrong? That is, anyone would agree across the board, like, that is plainly wrong. Go ahead, one thing. You cannot call someone a wrongdoer without identifying what specific moral transgression they've committed against you. 5, you allege I don't give you a chance to respond? Hell, this is all designed to purposely provide the opportunity for there to be not only response, but for the whole forum to be created and facilitated to allow for communication facilitation. You being an estranged person from your son and being the one who first of all calls for it. 99% of the cases between mother-son estrangement is the children who call for it. It's an insult to me that I'm in an estrangement position where my mother's the one insisting we stay estranged. Stop insulting the man's ego, idiot. That is completely untrue. That I didn't give her a chance to respond. What have I done to prevent you? Do a preventing of your responding? Nothing. I've done nothing to prevent you from having a chance. Actually, I give you preemptive chances to resolve with me privately, with witnesses. You just declined, refused. You still now have whatever chance you have to respond. You have a text box that works there. I didn't block you. Put another video. Sit down with me like adults, with me and a witness, and say your response. I'm the one inviting that. That's been clear and will continue to be made clear. I've not prohibited you from responding in any way. So you see, it's all weird, evasive, weird, not reality consistent talk from this woman. Just all like tactics, all just badly, poorly reinforced, flaky. You blow it, it just falls apart. It's made of fucking paper. Hate people like this. The fuck? I hate. I'm honorable. I hate non-honorable people. It's disgusting to me. Speak correctly or hurt yourself on purpose. Love hurting yourself when you dishonor people. Thank God for that. If that worked, oh yeah, that's paradise. God, I'm like fantasizing now. Oh my God, a whole world of people who rightly stab themselves whenever they hurt other people. Thank you, God. Yes, now we've fucking eliminated dumbasses from the gene pool. Please. I think I got my fairness from my grandpa, because probably say, I don't know my dad's side too well, but I'd say out of everybody I knew, my grandpa really was he had that essence. Even my grandma, when she would look at me, she'd say, in Polish, she'd say, "You are just like him. You and your grandpa are the same." You know, for better or for worse. You know, she loved him, and she also was. He drove her crazy in a kind of way. But hey, they made it 50+ years in marriage, all the way. Well, you've not responded to anything I said except to make conclusory allegations that they're false, without actually saying specifically what the facts are about what is false. Can't do that. 6, you've implied by your message to me yesterday that I am in essence a liar by claiming that I've provided false or incorrect information on my videos. Falsely accusing me of being a liar is an extremely severe wrongdoing. Wake up. Reality check. If you accuse me of being a liar, you need to be sure about your claim on me as sure as you are that the sun is going to rise in the morning. That means reasonably true. That means that nobody else in the world would sanely be able to deny the clarity, the clear truth of that on its face. It's like that stands on its own legs, so obviously and objectively so. It needs to be reasonably true that the things I've said have been incorrect. That's not the case. So I'm asking you for a second time now here, if you believe that I've said anything that is reasonably and clearly false, you must point out, 1, which video it's in, what timestamp or time range, what the statements that are said that you think are false, why you think it's false, what you assert is the truth in your actuality, why you think that thing is the truth and not the thing I said, and 7, to help you even further, additionally, whatever evidence you have